Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for weeks. Nah, you like what I did there? A little flip on the LL Cool J. We've been here for years.
Yeah, I love it.
Whatever. Y'all didn't get that. But either way, Gray is back with us in the booth. If you can't already tell, he left me high and dry last week. What's up with that, man?
Yeah,
How you gonna leave me high
I
and
was
dry?
in Virginia, man.
You just partying? Is that what was going on?
Sales
On Virginia
conference.
Beach?
Sales conference. Wasn't even in Virginia Beach. Norfolk.
I don't know where that's at. I've never been to Virginia, if you couldn't tell. Either way, he's back. We got a great show for you. We're going to talk about women's professional baseball finally coming back. We got gambling and the whole controversy with that because there's been a lot of arrests, a lot of investigations over the last couple of years since the ban on sports betting was lifted in 2018. We got March Madness, Final Four. What's the specific dates on Final Four again? That's this weekend?
This Saturday, first game 6, second game 8, and then Monday is the national championship.
Ooh, that's a little tight. Either way, Final Four this weekend. We know we're going to cover that because that's the hottest thing going on in sports right now. And then on top of that, the NFL is thinking about having an 18th game during the regular season. They just added a 17th back in 2021. Do you think they should add an 18th? Do you think they shouldn't? Personally, I don't think they should. I think that's too long of a season, including preseason and postseason games.
Man, I was hoping we were going to disagree.
Okay. Well, hey, there are some owners who are agreeing and disagreeing. It was talked about all during this annual meeting that they usually have. But either way, that's the show coming up. We got a bunch of more stuff to talk about and say on these subjects. So make sure you guys stay right here. We're going to step on all the different sports fields today and step in between the lines. So make sure you guys stay right here. We got a great show for you coming up today. And we are back. You guys are listening to Between the Lines on Hawk Radio, the official radio station of Hillsborough College. Now, while we went off the air, Gray over here talking some mess about some women's professional baseball. Now, women's professional baseball is coming back for the first time since 1954. Now, if you guys have seen the movie A League of Their Own, it's basically based on a true story because there was a women's baseball league back in the day when men had to go fight over in World War II. There wasn't a lot of professional baseball players. So 1954 was the last time there was a women's professional baseball league. 26 years later, at least I'm hoping, no, not 26 years later, 52 years later, we're finally getting another women's professional baseball league, which is set to debut here in 2026. Your four inaugural teams are Boston, New York, LA, and San Francisco. How do you feel about them getting a professional baseball team or professional league?
Honestly, I mean, I don't think it was very thought through, to be completely honest. I mean, you just told me they're playing in Illinois, and we have 4 of the biggest cities in the U.S.
Well, I think it was thought through because they picked the specific cities because of the fan bases they have there and the sports history in those 4 cities. But their thinking is they want a neutral territory. And again, it's only a 4-week season. So 30 games, 4-week season. And you even brought it up earlier, the traveling. That's not going to be very conducive, especially because a lot of these ladies are probably going to have part-time jobs on top of having to play games. But, I mean, it is so cool to see that they're finally getting a women's professional baseball league again.
I think it's cool. I think it's a great idea. I mean, how are you going to get fans to Illinois?
They're fans. You got Chicago. You got the Chicago Cubs. People going to show up.
All right, that's the Cubs, bro.
People are going to show up. You got baseball diehards in Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you have a point, but I don't know. I'm not completely sold on the idea. I gotta be completely honest.
All right, so here's a little bit about the game, right? So it's gonna be a 7-inning game. So 7 innings. Each team's gonna have 15-player rosters, and the players are gonna get paid per game. And yeah, they're gonna get paid per game. And there's gonna be a 30-game season, 4 weeks, and then including 2 weeks for playoffs. And they'll play Friday through Sunday. Each team will have to play 2 games a week. So they'll make a little bit of money, obviously, and then they'll get revenue sharing and they'll get room and board during the season.
My biggest question for you is what's the max price you're paying for a ticket?
Max price, you're probably not going to be paying a lot because you're in the early stages, right? It's going to be like the WNBA probably back in the day when they first started. You're probably looking at maybe $4 or $5 tickets, maybe 6 or 7, depending on what teams tend to be more popular or what teams tend to be more dominant.
Yeah.
So you're probably looking at low end, probably $2, $4 tickets. High end, $5, $6 tickets.
And then, do you know how many people the stadium holds?
I do not. I know it's going to be played, like you said, in Springfield, Illinois, at the Robbins-Roberts Stadium. They wanted that for neutral territory, but it's going to be obviously a shortened season. It's going to be following the completion of the Women's Baseball World Cup. So you're going to see a lot of different faces, obviously, because there's no college baseball. There's college softball, and there's never been a league for women's baseball here in the U.S., but other countries outside of the U.S. obviously have a women's baseball league. A good example of that is if you look at South Korea, they have a women's baseball league, and they have a YouTube channel. Now, I'm probably going to butcher this, so bear with me here. Yagu Yongwang, which is Baseball Queens. You can go if you want to take a look at how the format would potentially be.
Yeah.
They air their games on YouTube, so you can watch how their games are kind of shaped and how they play. It's the 7 innings, 15-player roster, and how the games would be set up, umpired, and officiated. So if you want to get a look and get an example of what it could potentially look like here in the U.S., I think that's probably the best one-for-one example that you guys could have if you wanted to check that out.
I think they better be ready to play their first game because I think that first game is going to set the standard.
Oh, yeah. That first weekend is definitely going to set the standard amongst almost the entire season because you had 600 players show up for the summer tryouts. Your top 120 went to the draft, and then I think they had your first 9 picks were from 5 different countries, and it's obviously your countries who are dominant in baseball. So you had Japan, South Korea, U.S., the Dominican Republic, Canada. So I think that first weekend is going to be the standard at which you're going to judge the rest of the season, and then you're also going to judge, okay, so these are your first ever players in this professional league. So that's going to be the gauge of how much better these girls can get.
Right.
So, and then there's also a player, I know people are going to look at them, they're not as strong as the men. They're not going to be throwing 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, 90-mile-an-hour fastballs. But you have to also think, baseball, especially pitching, it's not about how fast you can throw a ball, it's how many swings and misses you can get, right? So they might be doing knuckleballs, or they might be doing more splitters and curveballs rather than straight fastballs.
Right.
So, I mean, I know there's a girl in Korea who can throw up to about low 80s to mid 80s fastball, but could you imagine if she has a knuckleball to go with that and a curve? The amount of change, ooh, you better watch out now.
I just want to see some ladies go yard, man.
Oh, you definitely gonna get that. You're gonna have some girls who got some bats. So, like I said, the South Korea YouTube channel, who I watch a lot. So there's this girl on there, dude, she goes yard almost every game. She had one where she went for like 3 home runs in a single
Yeah,
game.
see, that's what I want to see.
Dude, there's one girl who threw 160 something pitches in a game. I'm like, you're not seeing someone throw 160 something pitches, and it's a 7-inning game.
Right.
So there's potential for excitement there, which I'm really excited about. I'm really excited to see what the U.S. can do, because the U.S. is known for being the premier leagues, right? NFL, basketball, MLB. So I can't wait to see how the U.S. approaches this, because you got the model. You got the model in South Korea and some other countries. Now, can they take that model and improve upon it and get bigger exposure for women's baseball and potentially get up to a level of a WNBA where they're making at least a minimum of $1 million contracts, or at least a couple thousand and million in revenue?
Right.
Which I think they do have the potential of doing.
Right. I think the biggest concern is scalability in the future.
Yep.
I mean, you'd have to probably build your own stadiums, because MLB seasons are going to be hard to schedule around. So scalability is the main concern, but I'd love to see how this pans out.
I think it's going to pan out great. I think the potential for it is going to be huge, especially with the growing popularity of baseball. But that's going to be it for baseball. We got to move on. I could talk here. I can sit here all day and talk about this, because this is something I'm really looking forward to come August. So we're going to step off the diamond, and we're going to step on to the NFL field here after the break and talk about a potential 18th game in the regular season. Potentially, I think it's dumb. I don't think it should be done. But stay here. You're going to hear our opinions after this break. And we are back. You guys are listening to Between the Lines on Hawk Radio, the official radio station of Hillsborough College. Now, we left the baseball field. Now we're on the gridiron. We're talking NFL. They are potentially thinking of adding an 18th game to the regular season. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about that. What you feel about an 18th game?
I mean, I think the 17th game was already too many. You can see all the injuries that happen throughout the season. It's a super combative sport.
Oh, these guys are
Super
laying each other
aggressive.
out.
They're always tackling each other. I mean, I don't know how much you can take. I mean, you just saw Patrick Mahomes get hurt, one of the most agile quarterbacks ever. Add another game. Not only that, but the 17th game comes down to being almost irrelevant.
A lot of people
for a
just
lot of
get rested
teams.
that game.
So why are you adding another game when?
Yeah.
Are you trying to make the 17th game more relevant, and now the 18th game is going to be irrelevant? I don't understand the whole thought process through this.
My problem with it is this. So you got preseason. Preseason's what, 4 games long?
I think 3 or 4.
Right. Let's say minimum they got 3 games in the preseason. Then you add an 18 regular season, so that's 18, 21 games at that, plus a bye week, so 20 games of players roughly playing. Then you get, if you go all the way to the Super Bowl, that's an extra 3 games. So then you're potentially playing 23, 24 games in NFL season
Plus
with the abuse on the body. Because you got training camp when pads are on. These guys are, and when they put pads on, they're just dying to hit each other. So unless, I think Robert Kraft came up with the solution of, hey, if you're going to add an 18th game, there needs to be at least 2 bye weeks. But I don't think 2 bye weeks is really going to change anything. Because how much does a player really rest over the course of an actual NFL season over a bye week?
Not much. And then I don't know if you saw the new schedule, but I believe Thanksgiving is going to be like 5 straight days of football, something like that.
5 straight days.
I think they're doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a Monday night football.
Oh God!
Which is,
by that point, I'm already tired from football. Personally,
like.
I'll keep up with it on ESPN, but consistently watching games like that is just, personally, I know I'm tired because it's almost the same thing every week at that point. It doesn't start to heat up again until playoff season, but then that's when everybody's season's on the line for those who haven't locked it up yet. And so, and then the only other problem with an 18-game season, if they go with an 18th game, then the NFL and the NFLPA, and NFLPA is NFL Players Association for you guys who don't know, they're going to have to renegotiate their CBA, their collective bargaining agreement, earlier than it expires, because it expires in 2030. But that was also set up for a 17-game season.
Right.
Now you had an 18-game. You got to go back and renegotiate your CBA. How's that going to affect everything else going forward?
This is honestly, I just don't see the value in adding another game. You have injury concerns.
Yeah.
You already have the 17th game being irrelevant.
Yep.
Why add an 18th game, making that 17th game relevant? I mean, if you look forward, what are we just going to keep adding games to make more relevant? I don't understand the whole value add of this.
Yeah. Well, you know why the NFL wants to do it is because we want to make more money.
Of course, it's always
and that's
money.
always the thing. Ever since Roger Goodell took over, it's always been money, 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 money. You see prices with the NFL Sunday ticket skyrockets. He wants to go to Netflix.
Yeah.
It's so much harder to watch an actual NFL football game nowadays. Like, what's the point? If you don't have NFL Sunday ticket, if you don't have Netflix, Amazon Prime, you're not catching a regular game. Not to mention how late they come on.
I think I saw an article, and it was like, if you want to watch every NFL game this season, it's going to cost you like something like $120 a month.
Exactly. And it's like,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's including Netflix subscriptions. I know the NFL Sunday ticket by itself is probably $120.
Yeah. I think I bought a NFL Premium, and I got the student discount.
Yeah.
That's going away now because I'm not going to be a student. But I mean, I think that was like $70 or $80 alone, and then thank God I have an Amazon Prime and can watch Thursday night football. But then you need Netflix now for Monday night football, and you need another subscription for
you need Netflix
Saturday football. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, you need Netflix for, I think, the Thanksgiving and Christmas games. Not to mention they have Monday nights now, I think. Then you have Prime, who has Thursday nights. Sunday nights, I don't even think are on cable anymore. I think that's on Paramount Plus or whatever other streaming.
Peacock.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you're making it harder for people to watch games. Now you want to add an 18th game just to make even more money. And your whole justification for it is, but we're having more international games. We're growing the sport overseas. That is cool, and I'm all for it, but do that within the 17 games you have.
Right.
Because you're costing people more money just to, one, try and watch your product, and adding an 18th game is just, you're making the season longer, and you already see how people react with longer seasons, like baseball's 162 games, NBA's 82 games, WNBA, I think, is like 40-something games. At a certain point, it's like, I thought 16 was your perfect, like, it was your nice Goldilocks zone of, it's long enough, but not too long to where you get bored. Yeah. 17, you pushed it a little bit. No one cares about your 17th game. You add an 18th, it's going to be the same thing. No one's going to play your last 2 weeks.
Right. I think the who is it? The Raiders played the Giants in week 18.
It was the
like, who's
Tank
watching
Bowl.
that game, man?
Yeah, it was the Tank Bowl or the Toilet Bowl, people like to call it.
Yeah, like who's watching that game?
No one. It was literally the battle for who gets the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the game, if they add an 18th game, I think it's going to be just like the 17th game. It's going to be irrelevant. No one's going to give two snots about it. It's really going to be the same thing the last game of the season has always been. It's going to be, who's going to get the number 1 pick if it hasn't already been decided yet.
Right.
And then no one's going to play. They're going to sit all their players for teams who made the playoffs, or it's going to be teams blowing out teams who are on the brink of making the playoffs are going to be just battling teams who don't care anymore because they haven't made the playoffs.
And somehow those teams are going to win, and it's going to blow up the playoff. It's always ridiculous at the end of the season.
Yeah, the 18th game I think is unnecessary. I think it's stupid. I don't think we need it, but Roger Goodell is obsessed with revenue. We gotta make more money. We gotta make more money. It's like, do we really need more money? Do you really? Because you make how much money you think they make? Probably $100 million a year.
You know, the only way I would agree with this is if it was, all right, we're going to add an 18th season because we're becoming super expensive, right? We're becoming a super expensive league. We're charging a lot more for tickets. Let's do the math on how much revenue we make off 17 games.
Yeah.
And then that 18th game, how much revenue is that going to provide? And let's decrease ticket prices by that amount.
Dude, that would probably be more appealing to a lot of fans.
Yeah.
Because now you're bringing prices down. Okay, now an average person can go and see a freaking NFL game. Because nowadays you see NFL games, who's there? What average person is at an actual football game?
Our Bucks games, I was looking at tickets way into the season. I think the cheapest they come for the nosebleeds are like $144, which is unbelievable. You barely see the field.
Yeah.
You can barely see the field.
It's stupid.
I'm watching off the game screen. I'd rather just watch in front of my TV and see play-by-play what's going on.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's the problem with NFL. Their ticket prices nowadays, you watch it on TV, you're not seeing an average Joe go to the game. And if they are, they probably sold an arm and a leg to get a ticket to that game.
And I know that people say, like, oh, it's the atmosphere and everything. Have you ever been to an Alabama football game against LSU?
Dude.
It's different atmosphere.
Well, college is also just different in general. I think people are more passionate when it comes to college because it's not all about the money. Granted, there is NIL and stuff there, but these players are also doing it because they love football.
They love the game for the game.
Yep.
Right.
People get to the NFL and it's a business. And you have to understand that, it's a business, but at the same point, it's not that atmosphere of a college game where everyone's stomping on the ground, stomping the feet, shaking the stadium. You might get that at like maybe a Seattle Seahawks stadium, but it's very rare you get that at any other stadium during the game. It's not like an old school New England snow game with Teddy Bruschi shaking on the fence, just drenched in snow. It's not like those old school games. Nowadays, it's, okay, if you can afford a $600 ticket for mid to high, is it really worth it at that point?
Yeah, I don't see the value personally. I love the tailgating aspect.
Oh, dude,
that's my
tailgating's always the best part. You go out there, drink a little bit, have a couple hot dogs, couple burgers. Yeah, I need a not.
Yeah, but then I get in the stadium and it's $21 for a beer.
Dog, that's why you bring your own. You got to sneak them in. Just some in the back pocket, and then or just stick them up your shirt and just say you're pregnant. That's how you sneak them in.
Are you like a beer guy, shooter guy, like bringing shooters in your shoes?
If I could. If it gives me extra height, I think I could.
All right,
if it gives me extra height, I think I'll try and sneak some shooters into my shoes maybe. But you never know. I do need extra height. Sometimes I wear lifts in my shoes, so I need that extra couple inches, man. Height makes Dude, I'm like 5'4". I need to be like 6 feet,
Yeah.
Sometimes I got to stretch. I'll just hang from like the pull-up bar and I'll just drop and just hang.
Yeah.
All right. So, 18th NFL game. Don't think it's necessary. Gray doesn't think it's necessary, obviously. But the NFL is going to do whatever makes them more money at the end of the day. So, but we can wash that away. I'm totally against the 18th game. But next, coming up after this break, we got betting, sports betting, and sports gambling specifically.
It's going to be a fun one.
And the controversies that have come with it since it was lifted, since the ban was lifted in 2018. Make sure you guys stay right here after the break because we're going to bet on something. Not really. Don't listen to what I just said.
Not gambling advice.
Exactly. And we are back. You guys are listening to Between the Lines on Hawk Radio, the official radio station of Hillsborough College. Now, we left the sports field. Now we in the casino. We playing the slots a little bit. And we betting on a couple sports. Nah, I'm just kidding. But sports betting back in 2018, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act of 1992, which restricted legal betting on sports. Since 2018, how many players have got arrested or been investigated for betting on games or betting on themselves?
Before I answer that, I just wish you viewers could see that AJ just pulled the slot machine down.
That is fake news. That is fake news.
It's not fake news. But,
fake news.
Anyways, yeah, a lot of them. I mean, if you look at Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, a coach, a bunch of players come to mind.
Shohei's interpreter.
Of course. But I honestly, I can't blame the players as much as I wish I could.
Really?
I think that it's becoming way too commercialized, man. I mean, you look at every other commercial is DraftKings, FanDuel, become a king, bet on this. I mean,
Hard Rock bet now in Florida.
If I was a player, yeah, I mean, I would never bet unless I was betting on myself, which I already,
Yeah, but
whatever.
These players are betting, I think, to lower their props or lower their stats, and then they're taking themselves early out of games. And it's like, dude, y'all making thousands, millions of dollars. Why would you ruin your chance at the bag for something so stupid?
Right. And the only issue I have is as a player, you look at, if I was in the NBA and I'm seeing the spread being over 226.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, come on, man. I'm scoring that extra layup at the game. I'm not holding the ball.
Well, that's different. If it's like you're scoring an extra point. But I think a lot of the issue and a lot of the drawbacks people have is the fact that a lot of these guys are betting under, and then they're faking injuries or finding some way to come out of the game early to get that bag. I'm like, dude, that's so stupid. Why would you put yourself in that situation to, one, get investigated? Because I think Jonte Porter did that back in 2021-22, and it instantly set off red flags of, hey, why is he coming out early? It's like he wasn't hurt, he wasn't anything. He took himself out of the game when his stats were lower than what they were projected to be. I think on I think it was DraftKings or whatever the big gambling apps are right now.
DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, BetMGM, Hard Rock, in Florida.
Yeah, it's insane. These betting apps are almost everywhere. Oh, that's right. We got a sports bettor in here, guys.
Yeah, don't do it. For any of you viewers listening, it's all a scam.
Oh, it most definitely is.
They all use AI. They get the lines way too perfect. And I believe, and this is very controversial, that the NFL and NBA are rigged in a sense.
Oh, it most definitely is. There's no way certain things happen the way they do at the end of the season without a little help.
And let me give you some examples.
Oh.
Ready for this? The Lions played the Vikings on Thanksgiving. The Lions.
Which year? Last year?
This past season.
Okay.
They were minus 450 to win. For any of you people that don't know what that means you have to put $450 down to win 100. All the underdogs won. All the major underdogs won or covered the spread that week with 86% of the money on the favorites. Follow the money. That's all I'm gonna say.
Follow the money. Well, they gotta have some kind of hand in it. With as big 100%. As a corporation as the NFL and NBA are, they have to have some kind of hand in it. They just don't like it when their players get a piece of it.
I mean, you look at in college sports. I don't think it's as heavily done for like players and stuff because.
Yeah, I mean it happens, but it's not as I think big or as publicized as your professionals because they are professionals. They're getting $100 million contracts.
It might be like NIL now becomes more of a concern, but at the same time, I mean the only big one that's come out is like this Buffalo team, the UB Buffalo college basketball team. They had two players that were paid thousands of dollars to not cover their spread in the first half. But the problem that they had was it was blatant. I mean, you had the player that was scoring 24 points a game all of a sudden throwing passes blatantly out of bounds. Like, come on, man. Don't make it that obvious. But,
But so like since 2018, there have been like 24 investigations into
Yeah.
player bettings, player gambling. It's like obviously with today's social media era, you're seeing all of it now play out on the news, play out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Whereas back in the day, you didn't really hear it as much. I mean, the biggest names are I think Shoeless Joe Jackson,
Yeah.
and then Pete Rose.
Yeah.
But Pete Rose was technically never caught betting on his own games when he played, but he did bet on sports.
I guess the only thing with that is if it's like insider trading. But I do honestly think that the players should be able to bet if they're doing it in a sense that doesn't give them an advantage. But at the same time, you do know refs' tendencies.
I don't think players should be allowed to bet on their own sports. They can go ahead, like if it's a
Right,
basketball
that's what
player,
I'm talking about.
they
That's
can
what
go
I'm
ahead and
talking about,
bet on like football, baseball, hockey, whatever. But if they're like their own sport, they shouldn't be able to bet on.
But at the same time, if you're, let's say you're Shohei Ohtani and you text LeBron James and you're like, "Hey LeBron, how's your injury working out?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm only playing 2 quarters."
Well, so there's actually a thing about that. You can't do that either.
Right.
That's part of that. If they find you doing that, that's a whole other issue. So
Yeah.
I think NBA refs got caught for doing something like that a while
it's
ago.
a whole documentary on
Yeah.
Netflix. Watch it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
promise you that's why I believe that some of it's rigged. Watch that documentary.
I think Meta
It
World
explains
Peace.
everything.
I think who was it? Meta World Peace that think said that it's rigged just because of that.
Yeah,
So-
no. And think about it in a sense from an organizational standpoint. You guys don't realize, let's say that, the Atlanta Hawks go on a 10-0 run.
Yeah.
They're a huge underdog, but the ref has, let's say the Spurs money line, right? It takes one bad foul call to rattle the Hawks, get them all riled up, ruin their momentum, and the game changes. I'm telling you, it's a lot easier than a lot of people think. I don't know. This is just my opinion, but
But either way, I think sports betting, I think the ban does need to come back, or there needs to be some heavy restrictions on these players, because it's getting out of hand with how many players are getting investigated and arrested. I mean, 24 pairs of investigations. To name a few, obviously you had Jonte Porter for the Toronto Raptors get banned for life. You had Josh Shaw, who was the first NFL player suspended for sports betting on games in 2019.
Yeah.
Obviously, you had Ipe Mizuhara, who stole more than, I think, $16 million from Shohei Ohtani on sports betting. You had a soccer player get suspended at one point. I can't even pronounce his name, but I want to say Felipe Hernandez was suspended for betting on MLS games. Obviously, Calvin Ridley was suspended at one point. The Jets wide
7
receiver
games,
coach.
suspended for 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting intense. And that was just between like 2023 and 2018 in that span. Could you imagine 24 and 25? How many players in that time frame were arrested or caught for betting on their own sports? Like, I think the Lakers were investigated last year for sports betting. It's like, okay, it's getting insane.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest issue, and again, I'm gonna reiterate what I've already said, is you can't promote and commercial, like the NBA and NFL are partnering with these huge gambling corporations.
ESPN,
being like, don't gamble.
Yeah, ESPN has a partnership with, I think, one of the betting
They actually have their
organizations.
own.
No, so they got rid of ESPN Bet and they partnered with someone else. I want to say it's either Hard Rock Bet, FanDuel, one of the big ones, but there's no longer ESPN Bet. That's the whole thing. But they're still partnered with one of the big sports betting apps out there. But yeah, almost every other commercial during a sports game is MGM Bet, or it's FanDuel, or it's Hard Rock Bet. I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen a Hard Rock Bet app on YouTube this week just watching a sports highlight video.
Yeah, and then I've done my fair share. Not gambling advice, but every time that you're like, oh, I'm gonna quit, they're like 100% deposit match, 33% profit boost, and that gets you back because humans' brains are comprised of that
Dopamine rush.
Yeah, dopamine rush. You're getting a dopamine rush. Oh, like if I put $50 on this to win 200 and there's a 33% profit boost, now that turns into $275 instead. I'm getting an extra 75. Even when the probability of you hitting that bet is never high.
Yeah. And the thing you got to remember is the house always wins.
Always.
That's the saying in Vegas, right? The house always wins. And the whole saying now, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, is no longer true because you can take a sports betting app and go anywhere in the country. Well, not anywhere in the country. I think it's still banned in California, Texas, but in 39 why am I saying countries? States. 39 states, and then District of Columbia all have legal betting, legal sports betting, except for California and Texas. So you can potentially go anywhere in the U.S. and just pull up your app and I'm gonna put 10 grand on just this team to beat this team.
Yeah, right.
There's like, sports betting has gotten out of hand. There either needs to be some serious restrictions, or they need to be monitoring these athletes super closely to make sure they're not potentially throwing games. The leagues need to be held responsible too, because they probably do have a hand in some of it. Whether you believe it or not, they have to have. There's no way they don't, with as big as a corporation they are.
Anyone who doesn't believe that, you're falling for the trap. I'm sorry. I don't mean
Following
to be. I don't mean to be
theorists over here.
but yeah, a little bit of conspiracy on the gambling and all that. But
yeah.
but I mean, follow the money. Number
Follow
one.
the money.
Number two, anyone who wins gets cut off. Think about those two rules, and then make your own judgment.
Show me the money.
Exactly.
As it what movie was that? It was
oh boy,
dude, I couldn't
that's a
even
good
tell
pull,
you.
but I don't know names.
Yeah,
no.
Essentially, show me the money is what the NFL and NBA be saying with
Yeah.
the gambling apps nowadays. But we're gonna step outside the casino now. We're done playing the slots. I ran out of money. I went broke. So I'm sorry. I'm broke. That's why I'm on here. So money's tight, man.
We're moving on to March Madness, though. Not gambling advice, but I got some.
There you go.
I got some good.
There you go.
I got some good advice for you guys.
Gray's been going mad during March. That's why it's called March Madness. Don't worry, guys. Make sure you guys stay right here after the break. We got some madness coming up for you after this. And we are back. You guys are listening to Between the Lines on Hawk Radio, the official radio station of Hillsborough College. Now, does anybody have a Snickers? Because Dre been going mad up in this booth, man. He be throwing chairs at the walls, breaking windows. I get it's March Madness, dude, but you need to chill. You need to calm down.
Sorry,
Anybody got a Snickers? Because I know you ain't you when you're hungry.
You know, I don't. Also, we're not paid to promote that. Don't take that as promoting.
No,
us.
it's not. I'm just hungry. I haven't eaten since breakfast, so.
Yep, get that. So we have 2 major games. I'm super excited. Hate the UConn one, by the way. For anyone that's a fan of UConn, I'm sorry.
Why you gotta hate on UConn,
Dude,
man?
you know, they don't deserve to go anywhere.
Why
I
not?
love Dan Hurley. I really do. He deserved a technical foul at the end. Shouldn't have won. Should have went into overtime, to be completely honest.
Why shouldn't UConn be there? They're the number 2 ranked team.
They're the number. Okay, so you don't really watch a lot of.
No, I haven't been following.
Right?
I've been.
Okay. So let me give you some insight right now.
Okay.
Ready?
Break it down.
UConn's in the Big East, right?
Yep.
They did not win their regular season conference.
Okay.
St. John's did. They lost to St. John's by 20 in the conference tournament. And they were a 2 seed and St. John's was a 5 seed. Make it make sense. They also lost to the 7th ranked team in the Big East, Marquette, in their last game of the season, where Dan Hurley got ejected for yelling at the refs. So
But what's the strength of schedule though, too? Because I know that plays into it.
Their non-conference was pretty decent. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, you know, if you're going to base it off of strength of schedule entirely,
Because that's what college football does.
Right. But college football is also structured a little bit differently because
Yeah.
you have so many really main teams in college basketball, and it's all competitive conferences and everything.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, St. John's won the record against UConn 2-1. They played UConn super early in the season, lost, and then they beat them in the regular season, won the regular season conference of the Big East, and then beat them in the tournament by 20. And they end up with a 5 seed and a harder schedule, playing Duke in the Sweet 16. They played Kansas in the round of 32. And UConn got a cakewalk. UConn gets a cakewalk, man.
So being that they got a cakewalk, what kind of cake was it? Vanilla, chocolate, what kind of cake?
It was the simplest cake I can ever explain. It was vanilla.
Oh,
it was
okay.
vanilla, man.
Okay,
I
my
mean,
bad.
I can't support this UConn basketball team. Michigan State is the worst three-pointing shooting team in the entire March Madness tournament. Cohen Carr can't shoot a 3. None of their team can shoot a 3. Jeremy Fears, he shot like 36%. I mean, if you can't shoot against that UConn team, ridiculous. They couldn't even stop UConn, and UConn's not even that good. And then you play against Duke, and you're down by 19, and Duke and John Shire blow the lead. I mean, dude, how lucky can you get as a team? And you have Dan Hurley in the face of refs. I'm sorry if I'm passionate about this, but
Okay. So with that being said,
man,
UConn or Illinois, who do you think has the best chance to win?
Illinois is going to beat the doors off UConn. Mark my words. You names you need to know. Mirkatich. Keaton Wagler is about to drop 30 on solo ball. 30 points. He's going for 30. He's the next Penny Hardaway. Mark my words.
Okay.
Number 3, Ivasic. Terrace Reed Jr., under 10 points. He's not scoring this game. They're going to have a game plan. They're going to beat the doors off UConn. UConn shot 3 of 21 from 3 against Duke and still somehow pulled out a win. John Shire, don't know why you played Caden Boozer in the last 10 minutes of the game. Don't know why you play him at all. He's not ready to play at that level. Anyways, Illinois is beating the doors off UConn. Moving into the second game, which
Michigan versus Arizona.
Michigan versus Arizona. Now, this is the game of the tournament.
They're both 1 seeds, right?
Yeah, it should be the national championship game. I'm not going to lie. These 2 teams are 2 of the greatest college basketball teams I've ever seen play.
Really?
With NIL now,
Okay.
I mean, dude, the teams that they put together. I mean, you have Michigan with Ade Mara. You have Yaxel Lendenborg, who is 6'9", dropping 14 points a game. It might not seem like a lot, but watch him play.
Okay.
If you've watched him play, you understand why he doesn't score as much, because you have so many players that can score the ball on Michigan. And then on the other side, you have Koa Pete, who's one of the best freshmen in the entire nation.
Mm-hmm.
You have, I'm gonna butcher the name. It's their point guard. He can shoot the ball though really well.
Okay.
And you just have unbelievable teams. I mean, I think the game is gonna be like.
What do you think the final score is going to be?
Honestly, My thing, 88-86, Michigan.
Ooh.
Michigan
You
just
think they're
dropped-
going to overtime for it? You think they finish it in four
No,
quarters?
they're gonna finish in two halves. Two halves.
Same thing.
Yeah, it is the same thing. But yeah, I think that's going to be a battle of the two beasts. Whoever wins that game is winning the national championship. UConn doesn't stand a chance against either of those teams. Hate UConn. Sorry for all your viewers.
we figured that out a little earlier.
UConn, Dan Hurley. Love Dan Hurley. UConn doesn't deserve to be there. Illinois, they have a chance if they win. I think that it'll be a good game, but I just don't see you stopping this Michigan team right now at all. I don't see anyone stopping this Arizona team. That game is going to determine who's the national champion.
I would like to see Michigan win. I got some family who went to Ann Arbor or who are fans of Ann Arbor, so I would love to see Michigan win. I think that would be exciting. I wasn't expecting a UConn hate rant earlier.
Sorry to all the viewers.
That was by far the funniest thing I done heard today.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Very passionate about hating UConn.
Oh, we could tell.
Yeah.
We could tell. I think you need to lay off the energy drinks.
They beat UConn, by the way. UConn on the men's side beat Duke, for everyone that just heard me rant about that. And then UConn on the women's side just beat Notre Dame. So.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be interesting. It's March Madness for a reason. I think almost everybody's bracket broke in like the first week.
Yeah,
And
high point blew
Yeah,
mine.
so now we're here in the Final Four. We got UConn, you got Michigan, Arizona, and Illinois. They're going to battle out this weekend to get to the national championship on Monday, and we'll figure out who's going to win the whole thing. Your bet's on Michigan. I can't argue with what you just said, mainly because I haven't been following along with it, so I'm going to take you at your word, and I'm going to bet Michigan on that one.
I would bet the opposite of whatever I bet.
Well, last time I bet against you, I lost. So
That's fair. Usually I'm pretty good in college basketball.
last time I bet
watch
against
so
you
much,
was the
but-
World Baseball Classic, and I got mercy ruled. So
Well,
it don't even matter.
I don't really bet on that.
So
I just know that. By the way, AJ's a fraud now. After that game, 10-0.
Okay.
Mercy ruled.
Okay.
Sorry guys.
we didn't need to bring that up. Okay, all right. Either way, we gonna scratch that. Disregard anything he just said.
Disregard. Yeah, he's not a fraud.
Yeah. Anyway, we got to step out between the lines now. Obviously, that was a fun show. That's probably one of the funniest ones we've done
definitely.
all semester long. We talked a little bit about some gambling. No gambling advice, promised. It was just a little bit of opinion on sports betting now. We talked a little bit about women's professional baseball coming back, for room for excitement, room for growth in women's sports. Talked about March Madness. Well, he ranted about March Madness. I don't really think he talked about it. He ranted about it. And then we talked about NFL potentially having an 18th game going into the foreseeable future. That was that's definitely one of the funniest ones we've done so far.
Yeah.
Definitely can tell we enjoyed ourselves today. Hopefully everyone out there enjoyed it too. I hope everyone was out there laughing along with us. But that's going to be it for today's show. That's going to be it for me and Gray. Love you. Peace. We out.